I used to
It
get
is pretty
nosebleeds
bad.
a ton too.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten recently.
that's good. Just pass it on to your kids instead.
I think I may have actually
That's fair.
inadvertently. It's not on purpose. I would never
No, I
do that
understand.
on purpose.
I don't have to miss.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not supposed to like give it away in the title.
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
That seems like
What I
yeah.
got,
That
I
seems
gotta
like
get it on me.
Spoiler
What I
alert.
got,
yeah.
you
Serious
divert.
spoiler alert. All right, so it is 8:30. I think we can start now. How does everything sound on stream? Is our volume good?
It's good, it's good.
Let me turn it off. Let me hear the
Good, it's
volume on
good.
stream. Let me turn it off. Let me hear the
Good, it's
volume.
good.
Let me turn it off. Let me hear the
Good, it's
volume.
good.
Oh, we created an endless loop of death.
Endless loop.
All right, so I think let's go ahead and get this party started. Devon has already given away the secret, so I guess for people that are watching on Twitch, so we can talk about it later. So if let's go ahead and get started here. So random
Let's
button.
get it started.
You going to keep bringing the awesome?
You are listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network.
Welcome, freelancers, to episode 144 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. I am your host, Steve, along with my co-hosts, Michael and Devon. Mike, Devon, I'm glad that you are with me today. Today is October the 15th of the year of our Lord 2020. There are 26 days until the Xbox Series X launches. There are 28 days until the PlayStation 5 follows suit there soon after. There is, thanks for the follow, Echo. We really appreciate it. 2020 ends in 78 days. That couldn't come soon enough, that's for sure. And Stormlight Archive Book 4 launches in 30 days. That's really the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. Cyberpunk in 35 days. Oh, guess what? Cyberpunk also coming to Stadia day and date. That is huge. Congratulations to all you Stadia owners. You don't have to wait in line to get a console. You get next gen.
That's why they have to crunch.
I think we know
You're
one of
thinking
them.
they're crunching because of that? Phaedron is excited that
Do you think we know the
Cyberpunk.
Do you think we know the only
For
Stadia
15
owner?
people that use Stadia.
I know two of them. We know Rick and we know Phaedron. So there's two of them right there. Godfall launches in 28 days. And everyone, welcome to this episode. All right. So a couple of things before we get into the meat of the subject here. I would like to thank all of our patrons for supporting the show for as long as they've been doing that. We really, really appreciate it. We appreciate Julius, Nathan B, Michael R, Trent B, Man and Still, Scout 69, Dragonheart 76, Jeffrey H, The Gameplay Experience, and RZ.
And if you're supporting against your will, blink twice and we will come and rescue you.
If you want to continue to support us, you can do that over at patreon.com/freelancer codex. Give us $1 that way, and you can get access to our pre-show, 15 minutes of us rambling and talking about nonsense. Today, we're talking about flights, the god of fertility, Kokopelli, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you want access to that really cool stuff, you can do that.
What? Spoiler.
Yeah, we're not going to just give it away. All right, so I think, and I don't really know how. Let me do this first. We have a Discord community. Will there be a link in the description of this YouTube video? There'll be a link in the podcast RSS feed. Go join our Discord. Talk about video games. Talk about a lot of different things. So today's going to be kind of different. I've been kind of struggling with how to approach this subject, whether we want to get into video game news first and then have the announcement at the end. But I think it's probably better if we have this announcement at the top of the show. So.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's better if we have it at the top of the show. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to kick the time over to Devon to make an announcement. Devon?
Mike has joined Bungie Studios. And is
Yeah, because I'm the one most qualified to do that.
No, yeah. So today, after a lot of thought and prayer and other things, I've decided today is my last day on the podcast. So it's been, I don't even know. It's like it's been a great. What have we been doing this? 3 years now, almost 3 years, longer than 3 years.
3 years.
And so I just need to direct my path in a different direction, and nothing negative, no problems. Just I gotta go a different direction for some reason. I don't know. But
are we holding you back, Devon? Are Mike and I just like throttling you down? You got to break away. Is that what's going on here?
No. I won't be doing any other podcasts or anything else like that. I just, mostly need to focus on work and family and whatever else is coming my way. So, but no. I don't know. I mean, it was a long, difficult decision, and how do you say goodbye to something that you love and something that's a part of who you are? And I don't know, but today is that day, and I've approached it unwillingly, but it is here. So, yeah, that's what I've got to say about that.
So I would like to say thank you for the time that you did give us to the podcast. It's a big commitment to be on the show for 3 years. It's not, I think it's easy to be like, hey, you show up for an hour, you record, and then you're out. But there's a lot that goes into the show. There's a lot of extra time that is spent on a podcast, of prep time, talking about things like researching everything that's coming out. So it's not just like, hey, you show up 1 hour a week and then that's it, right? Or else lots of people would do it because that sounds easy. So I would like to say thank you for your dedication for the 3 years that you have been on. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, give me your highlights of the show. Like, what's your favorite part of the show? Well, Mike, do you have like a party happening in your house?
Yeah, they're celebrating my exit. Is what's going on.
I don't have anything happening in my house. I apologize if you
There's nothing
hear
going on
stuff.
in my house.
Yeah, there's
No,
sorry.
highlights. I mean,
there's
we
nothing.
got to go to E3, got to go to EA Play, get behind the scenes, pass, cool stuff like that. Got to talk to a lot of developers, and a lot of dreams came true, and good road trips, and sleeping in great hotels.
The hotel was not that bad. Like every time we bring this up, you guys are like complaining about the hotel that I booked, but it really wasn't that bad.
It was great. I didn't complain one bit. No, it was amazing. I've had the time of my life, honestly. Yeah.
So Echo Thief in the chat says, Devon, you're my favorite part of the Freelancer Codex. Sad to see you go, but I respect for your choice. I will continue to support the podcast. Echo Thief, we really appreciate it. We are all sad to see Devon go as well. Phaedron asks, where did you guys stay? So let's see. How many times did we go to E3? We went to E3 twice, right? So the first time Devon booked the hotel, and the hotel was... No, I said the first time. Remember the first time? Like you had the hotel already picked out. You and Paige were going to stay there. So we booked one at the same place. So we got there. And that hotel was nice. It was a little bit farther away from the Palladium. But
I forgot all about that, yes.
And that hotel was okay. I mean, it wasn't the nicest hotel either. So when I booked it, we got a place a little bit closer. It was only about a mile away from where EA Play was happening. I mean... Like if you got past the mice and you got past the mold in the shower, like it really wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah. So if you got past all of that, considering, I mean, it was like right there. Like you could walk to E3 and we were right at the show
with the door that locked, right? So
You could walk, but we never did.
Yeah, I mean, if I
we
knew
did
that we would
once.
never walk.
We walked one place, and Devon's like, "My feet are hurting. Mike's walking too fast. You can't walk like this anymore.
I got
We
your
have to
legs,
Uber
right?"
now."
I said, "You can walk. I'm gonna take a car." So when you walk at the speed of a car that's driving, I can't, keep up. So...
Devon chat says your mic is a little bit low.
No, it's not. It's up here.
Well, move it closer to your
I'll
face.
turn the mic up for you.
All right, chat will tell you if that is
How's
good
that,
enough. So
Rusty?
yeah,
Is that better?
I mean, do you want to talk about it more? Like, or are you good? And that's like, are you going to be like gone forever from podcasting? Is there ever a chance of you coming back on the show when you like have a minute? Or
I don't know. it's a lot of unknowns, right? I wouldn't mind coming back on, on occasion, but for right now, it's I got to figure out where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do instead. So I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, we could talk about it more, but I don't want to cry, so I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I mean, that's what brings in all the clicks is you crying, and then we get to
No.
So you have to re-explain it because Rusted says he missed it. So Rusted bought the wrong kind of coffee, so he had to go make a cup of coffee, and he missed it.
He's just
Devon is leaving
waking
the show.
So no,
Yeah.
I am leaving the show. It's Steven's fault. He hates me. I'm not just kidding. No, yeah, it's been a tough decision for me, and I just need to focus in other areas in my life, and I don't know. Just got to figure it out. So.
All right. So with that, I think we'll jump into the news, and we can just kind of see if we can move on from here. So we'll let Keanu bring us in. I don't know. I don't even know how to do this now because this is just weird. All right. So sorry, I'm gonna talk.
Why'd
for
you
a
make it
little bit.
weird?
All
right.
No, it is weird. It's not weird that you're leaving. It's I am whatever you're gonna do next. I am happy for you, whatever that's gonna be. But it's we've been talking video games for the last 3 years, every week, and it'll be weird to not have you here. And yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's I don't know what to say. And when you got to make a difficult decision and change your life, and you just got to do what you got to do. So.
Yeah, that's.
I watch Stephen and Mike rise into the stardom of online personalities, and I'll be like, that could have been me, but I left. So.
No, but that's I mean, now it's well, how do we restructure the show? What do we do? And that's got to be something that we're gonna have to figure out now. And
yep.
It's been. Yeah, it's been a little bit of shock. I think that's what it is. I was trying to describe it, and I was and usually I don't have much emotion anyway, so I'm maybe this is why when people are in shock on TV, everyone just hands them a blanket because they don't know what to do when they're in shock. They're I don't know, here, hold this blanket, put this blanket around you, and
do something
you could have been,
yeah,
something to keep you busy anyway. So we're gonna have to figure that out. If ever you want to come back on, you can come back on and we can chat and
Christmas special, right?
Maybe we do have a year-end show that we had planned, so we'll see if that's something that you want to join us on. And we have a couple other developers that wanted to jump on for that, and we'll see if you want to be there. And yeah, Rusted says Mike agreeing to the comment from Steve about lacking emotion. Yeah, and that's something that I struggle with. So.
You don't struggle lacking emotion. You're pretty good at it.
Sometimes I think I should have more emotion, but sometimes
we all think so. But sometimes robots aren't programmed like that, and they just have their default settings. Maybe we didn't upgrade your ROM or something.
You didn't update my ROM?
I don't think so. So Steve is beside himself, and Devon is definitely conflicted a bit because he can't super articulate what's going on, but such is life. I mean, could it happen any other year but 2020? This has been a rough year for lots of things, and it's going to continue to be rough, and as we try to move on and pick up the pieces that we do have when Devon leaves, because it's no secret that he is a very large part of the show, and
is that a fact
and
joke,
one of
Mike?
the originals.
What's going on?
And one of the originals, and not only so, and I know you all probably have understood this from the way that we talk and the things that we do, but Devon and Stephen and I have been a group much longer than this show, and have Devon and Stephen worked together for many years, and so we've been at barbecues, we've been at family gatherings, we've been at birthday parties. There's many interactions where we will still have. It's not like you're leaving, right? You're not going away. We're not deleting your contact out of our phones, right? We'll see
if I get an invite to next year's barbecue. We'll see.
We're still talking
I
and
didn't get the
sharing
invite
notes,
this
so we'll
year.
still talk to each other. There wasn't one this year.
I know. It's a joke.
There wasn't. So it's going to be rough. And as we move on from here, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how to pick up the pieces and where to go. I mean, this is like when the Red Ranger had to leave and all that was left were the other Rangers, green and yellow and black. And
Your analogy is spot on, Mike.
so, I mean, well, yours was better when Steve and I were talking about it. But you know what? We're going to be sad to see you leave. But again, I mean, like I said, we assume that you aren't moving because we haven't seen any moving trucks. But it's going to be interesting, and we're going to still stay in the loop. We're going to talk about each other's Xboxes. We're gonna see all the kinds of stuff that we're playing, and we'll still talk there. So it'll be good. And we do have stuff to cover tonight, don't we, Steve?
Still in the Discord, Devon, I assume, or
I'll be there
put
for a
in the
little
Discord
while.
or what?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see how it
And I
goes.
think like it's something that we don't ever really talk about on this show, just because we've kind of made it a point not to. But like the three of us we're very religious people. Like, we believe in faith. We believe that, you know what, sometimes you're called to do something that was not planned on. And that's something like it's something that people don't talk about on podcasts because like it's not the popular thing to talk about, that hey, I believe in this thing and I have this faith that seems like a magical concept to a lot of people, and it's something that's made fun of a lot in a lot of the circles that we frequent in game journalism and stuff like that. But I mean, that's a big part of our lives. And so, you know, we believe that, hey, people, if you feel like you've been called to do something else or called to, you know, you go and you do that and you support people that have that. It's not something like, hey, you know, I hate you for leaving and ditching us. So I don't know. We support you, man. We'll be there. You'll be here, and our kids will play Minecraft together, and it'll be great.
Indeed.
I don't know what to say. I'm gonna push a button.
All right. I gotta talk to you about something.
This just in. Freelancer Codex podcast looking for third chair. Please submit resumes to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Devon, will you take our first news story, please?
Yes, first news story of the day. Amazon Crucible is shutting down, right? You might have heard rumors, but you haven't heard it until you've heard it here. All right, so that's just how it goes with the news. It's not true until you hear it from the Freelancer Codex podcast.
It's true now.
Amazon's free-to-play team shooter Crucible is shutting down on November 9th, 2020. Just months after its official launch in May, the Crucible team shared their final developer update and discussed what led to the decision following the team pulling the game back to closed beta in July. All right, they had issues at launched. It did not receive good reviews, and so they put it back into closed beta. Right, they were gonna do some changes, but that just didn't work out. You know, Amazon wants them to focus on their MMO, right? So everybody that's working at Amazon Game Studios is now working on that MMO. So
New World, New World
yeah, it's
Order,
New World.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. You know, Amazon has spent billions of dollars to try and get into the gaming market, and yes, Steve. And yeah, so I was like, "What's that noise?" So we'll see. You know how it works out for them. They have their newly announced streaming service, which I haven't heard anything about since they announced it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna go anywhere.
I think Luna will probably get some traction just because as big as Amazon is, I think it's really hard because when you think of Stadia and when you think of Luna and you think of things like xCloud, like the biggest news we've heard out of Stadia in recent time is that they're going to get Cyberpunk day and date, which is a big win for Stadia because that'll allow a lot of people to play that game at very high settings. It'll be
Depending
at
on your
1080p,
bandwidth.
Right. It'll be a 1080p, but they'll still be able to do that. But it's weird that, you know, Crucible came and it went, and that's how fast that decision was made. It was made very, very quickly. And, you know, that can either be seen as like a strength or it can be seen as a weakness, because maybe some other studios would try to like stretch it out for another year. And then the game would just be like, you know, being drug along, when it's like, hey, let's kill it, let's move our team, let's refocus, and let's go over to this thing. So I don't know if this is good or bad, but like, it's just crazy how quickly it happened. And I look at things like Artifact, the card game that came out of Riot. Was it out of Riot? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was out of Riot. Someone correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but Artifact was the card game that launched. It had a really bad business model where you were buying cards. It died. They put it into the think tank, and now I don't think that game's ever coming out again. But yeah, it's very interesting that thing came and it went. And like, I think, because I was like, Crucible, wait a second, which one was Crucible? Because I couldn't even remember exactly what Crucible looked like, because I got it mixed up with like what Valorant is.
Yeah, it was like a mix of shooter. It was kind of supposed to be like, what's that game from Blizzard? Hero shooters? Overwatch. Yeah, it's like a mix of hero shooter and something else. Yeah, like Valorant. And yeah, I mean, it was Iron Galaxy, right? They purchased them after they were making Killer Instinct, and so then Microsoft had to scramble to find a new developer to work on Killer Instinct, and that was
Double Helix.
Yeah, and that was Double Helix, and so, but they switched to making them use the Lumberyard, which is basically the Amazon's version of CryEngine, which they bought the license for from Crytek, because they needed money, because they were bleeding money left and right. So, but yeah, it did.
It just goes to show you like how difficult it is, because there was Crucible, there was the game The Cycle, which was like a PvE battle royale type game that came out also. That game is still live. I don't know how popular The Cycle is. I think it just had a recent update, but I mean, it's really a crowded market, and it's hard to make a game that really sticks around and pops. I mean, we see games like Fall Guys was here, and it was like big, and that's starting to taper off. And then Among Us, a game that released like 2 years ago, like is super basic graphics. That thing's hot right now. I don't know how long Among Us is going to be sticking around, but it's just like things move so quickly. And when you have giant, massive games like this, and it's like, how do you get your return on investment? And if it's not happening, it's not happening. Like, I wonder what they're going to do with Marvel Avengers. I mean, they just released a new update that has a lot of quality of life stuff. We can talk about that later. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3. It just kind of made me laugh that Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios put out a post saying like, hey, we built you this massive character customization tool, and you guys are all making the most generic, boring looking characters. Like, what is wrong with you? And it just got me thinking, and the question that I wanted to pose to you and to chat, it's like, do you have your developers spend all this time, all the money making this feature? Because it's not like an easy feature, just like, hey, go make a character creator, right?
Yeah.
And then players don't even use it? Like, is that something like, we have to have this or they'll hate us? But if we do make it, no one's going to use it. So is it like a lose-lose situation that they have to spend the time on there? Is tricky? Is customizing your character even something that you guys care about?
I do. I think it's pretty fun to do, right? That's one of the things I'm looking forward to doing in Baldur's Gate 3. Again, I just have to have the time to play it. But I think for a lot of people, it's like right now, because it's in early access and none of that transfers over, they're just basically like, who cares? Just making a character. You can make a character. I mean, obviously it's important because they interact and they're in the cutscenes and those kind of things. But I mean, I don't need to be like crazy or anything else. It's like, I like to make a character that I think looks good. And whether that's male or female or whatever, it's like, if I'm going to have to look at this character, I don't want it to have like crazy whacked out hair and all kinds of face tattoos and just stuff that's, funny to look at for like a minute, and then you're like, oh, that's funny now. I don't really want to keep looking at that, so let's go. So I don't know, and maybe they're just, it's like, who bought the game, right? I don't know, who bought early access. So it's like
Millions of people apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that bought it, but it's like maybe that's the type of characters that they like, obviously, or they're just let's get in and play. Who cares about character creation right now? You know?
Yeah, I guess if you have 1 million people, that's a pretty big sample size. So your bell curve is going to skew more towards plain, normal, boring when you have that many people, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to happen. So, and then you're going to have people that make the craziest looking stuff, and they'll be out on the fringes. And like you said, people that just say randomize one time, and then you go in and then you play. But I just thought it was interesting. It makes you wonder, like when people are making decisions when building games, are like, we could build this feature that'll take this much money in this amount of time, but no one will use it. But if we don't do it, people are going to get upset that we don't have a character creator. So, Mike, is that something you do? Because, when we think of Destiny, it's like, hey, you got one chance to make this character, and now you're going to play with this robot with this weird face tattoo for the next thousands of hours.
One of the things that I've always thought that Destiny could use is a, for lack of better phrasing, just like a barber, so that you could go in and like change your hair and stuff. In Destiny, though, I have decided to myself that, right, if you choose EXO, you got to stick with EXO, but you can go in and change other stuff, right? But most games are coming with character customization options, right? That's almost an industry standard for, I think, for a lot of different reasons. Number one, it's monetization, right? So you want to look like this, well, you got to buy this thing here. My kiddo wanted me to download Roblox, and I jumped on Roblox just to see what it was all about because I had no idea. And you go in, you look at the options, customize your character. That's like the first screen that you're given, and you can have this T-shirt. It costs this much real money though, and everything is like that, and that's how everything is in that game. And I don't say that to be like, this game is terrible because it's doing this. Like, I get it. That's how most games now are making their money, right? Because it's there, it works. I think of Battlefront. It has the same thing, right? You buy cards, you buy upgrades. So that's just how it's monetized, and that's how the game is supported. So I guess I don't balk at it, but it needs to be user friendly. It needs to have the ability to do what we want. We harp on anthems a little bit because of the cost of things. Wraps costing the same as decals, and not being able to do everything that we wanted there. So as a player base, we are kind of funny in the way that yes, you better have a customization, and it doesn't mean a customization system, and it doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but if you do it wrong, we're going to let you know about it. You know what I mean? So it's funny that's kind of how we do. But it is what it is. And companies need to put that in their game. And if they mess up, we'll let them know. We'll let them know if they have a bad one. There are many that are good. Anthems has some great spots. Destiny has some things that could be better. Like if I want to apply a shader to every piece of equipment that I have equipped at one time, there should be a shortcut to that versus having to go in to every piece to do it with. But it is what it is, and some people are really excited to be into those menus and look at those characters, those customization options. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I can't even find the shader menu. So also, don't let your kids play Roblox. Delete that right away.
Yeah. So tangent, right? So my kiddo is like, "Hey, get this game," and I'm like, "What is it?" And he couldn't explain it to me. Like Minecraft, I know what you do there. What is Roblox?
It's a place for
Roblox
bad people.
There's
that.
No, it's gone. I'll get.
No, Roblox is like, it's super popular because people, it's very Minecraft-esque, and where you can build stuff, but people also can like build whatever they want and bring people into their rooms. So there's not a lot of for kids Luke's age, they probably shouldn't. It's like surfing on the internet almost, where you can just be in there and you can find a lot of crap.
It could be a little predatory.
It can, yes.
Okay.
I think there's ways for you as a parent to like protect against that, but I would, if he's serious about it, like you need to spend like several hours doing some research and figuring out like what you need to do to make that safe for him to play.
Right. No, I understand.
Or you can just never install it.
Well, unfortunately, he talked me into it because anyway, but yeah, I need to go and check it.
It's like, oh, sorry, kids, there's an update and it won't launch anymore. Sorry, we're going to have to wait. Why don't you play this other game? So that's the trick, look over here.
That's the trick you use. I like it. I'm going to steal it.
All right. So speaking of Destiny, Mike, do you want to talk to us about the overhauling of the new player experience for Destiny?
Yeah. So we all know that there's Destiny. Oh shoot! I just lost the name. Beyond Light is Beyond Light drops. Beyond Light drops November. Beyonce. Beyond Light drops November 10th, right? And so gearing up to that, the game is going through lots of changes. Content is being vaulted. Planets are going away. Things are being different. We're saying goodbye to a lot of characters that we have dealt with for many, many years. So things are changing, and it's good. It's not a bad thing, right? The game is evolving. The game is growing, and that's how it should be. But because of that, the game is getting big, and it's getting so big. Hence the content vaulting, and it's getting so big and convoluted that many new players are getting lost in it all, right? So Devon and Steven and I left Destiny for a while. We came back recently within the last 3-4 weeks, and when we logged in, our menus were lit up with go here, this quest, that quest, and we were just whoa, too much overload, to the point where Steve had to turn it off because it was like, sensory deprivation, and like he was just going crazy. So what Bungie has decided to do is that they're going to try to help players with this, specifically new players who aren't familiar with systems and who aren't familiar with everything that's going on. They are going to sort of help them get into the game by virtue of having a new character, and I forgot the name of this new character, so let me look it up real quick. It is Shawhan.
I think it's Shawhan.
Shawhan.
ShamWow?
We're not doing that thing again, are we?
I'm pretty sure it's Shawhan.
Between
like
Han and
Han.
Han.
Yeah, it depends on how.
Yeah, I think it's Han and Han. So I'm going Shawhan. I like.
Maybe
Han.
it's just Sean. It's probably just Sean.
Maybe. Anyway, so this character is going to be not so much maybe a quest giver like we're used to, but someone who is going to help us to understand kind of what's going on. A new area is coming, but it's not really a new area. The Cosmodrome is coming back, which I'm a little like, Cosmodrome was never really like... Cosmodrome is what it was. Like, it's just... I didn't care for it much to have it like be brought back in as... And they're trying to give it like a nostalgia hit kind of thing, but whatever. So this character will be there, and they'll be able to help you through things, teach you how to use some different weapons and why to use some different weapon types. For me, like, I stick with the same weapon types. I like auto rifles. I like I like fusion rifles. I like auto rifles, and I like rocket launchers. Everything else, I'm like, like I'll use it to get bounties, but I dislike shotguns. I dislike hand cannons. So this character is supposed to help you like those weapons more, I guess. With different quests or whatever, maybe with different missions. I don't know. But anyway, so this character is going to help you with stuff, teach you the UI, teach you how to use your player and use your controller and use everything and how it works. And the goal is to, again, just get you educated before you start really jumping into the tower and start working through, because even with Devon and Steven and I going back, there are so many different NPCs they give quests and you have to do certain things for that it's really easy to get lost in everything. So this is supposed to help, and it's cool that it's doing it. It's a nice new piece to Destiny, and players, I think, will probably be on both sides of the fence with it, but it is what it is. But you kind of have to do that when your game's that big, and it's a big game. So
there's a lot of areas to go. I'm mostly excited about the new release because they're going to take places away, because they say game size or whatever, but I think it's, if they didn't want to go with it, like getting rid of them, I think a better way would be to just put them in the background and like kind of gray them out a little bit. So it's like the areas that are highlighted, these worlds are areas you should focus on in this update, right? And it's, there's multiple, like if you got in, like we started, like you said, we started playing, I don't know, a month ago again, and it's like, oh, we're playing this DLC. So it's like, okay, you're working on, this is the expansion you're working on. Make all the areas that don't pertain to that, kind of gray them out or darken them, and have the planets or different areas that do pertain to that expansion be more front and center, right? So it's not like, where do I go? What are all these icons? Do I need to talk to this guy? Do I need to do this? And it's like, oh, let me do this expansion, and you can help me by just darkening some of the areas, and the other areas will just stand out. And it's like, oh, and don't throw every kind of, this person has this to do, this person has this to do, and just give us an option to select that. And I think that would help so many players. It's like, oh, we see you're a returning player, you haven't played. Obviously, they can tell when you last logged in, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, which expansion, you have these expansions, which one did you want to work on? Or do you just could be like free play, and then everything's lit up, right? Like you can make a choice. And I think that would really help a player, instead of like, oh, go to the Cosmodrome, try and talk to this person, and they're going to show you different weapons and different things that you can do, which I think is still fine. But for those returning players that want to play the older stuff, which I don't remember what stuff is going to actually still be there,
right.
It's like, help us get to that, and then really once we want to be on that, to focus on that. And I think that would definitely help. But I'm not a game designer.
I agree, and that's a really good idea, because it's easy to get lost on what to do and when to do it and how to do it and all that stuff. So good notes. I like your notes. Good notes.
Speaking of getting lost on things, if you guys were to guess, maybe you don't have to guess, off the top of your head, how long do you think it has been since Marvel's Avengers launched?
3 months.
3 months?
I think it's been shorter than that.
Mike?
Is it a month?
How many months?
Shorter than 3.
Give me a number.
2 or 1?
Looking for a number. Tell me a number. Here we go.
2.5. I don't know.
I hate
just
this game
shorter
already.
than 3.
It's been about 5 weeks.
Oh, 5
weeks.
I think it's been 5 weeks. So I was right. I'm always right.
Good job, Mike. Well done. It's been about 5 weeks since Marvel's Avengers has launched, and it has struggled to hold its player base. I think there was less than 1,000 concurrent users on Steam the last that I checked. So there's been a very large drop off from the game. And the developers are excited that and hoping that a new patch that will be coming out, and I think it just released recently also, will actually bring the player base back. And I don't want to bring this up to like dunk on a game and be like, haha, suckers, but more like it's really difficult right now, especially to release a game like this and have the issues that it had, and to continue to like have a following. Like looters in particular are a very difficult game to make and a very difficult game genre to support. And we've seen that over and over again. And it makes me worried, like, as Godfall gets closer and closer, because Godfall is a looter as well, and then Outriders also, like, it makes me wonder, like, are those games going to suffer, like, the same issues that these games have? Like, granted, every game is going to be slightly different, but do you guys just think it's the nature of the looter that there will never be enough content at launch to keep people satisfied? because this desire to burn through the content so fast to get the best gear so quickly in order to do end game content? Or do you think it's like, do you think there's some other way a company that is developing a looter can roll out their game to where it doesn't burn out and die like, you know, a meteorite burning up on the atmosphere?
So I think
question.
the formula is more than just content, right? So I think back to The Division, which had some flaws in its systems, which were more overwhelming than the content, right? Because I remember playing Division, and we were having issues, if I remember them right, and you guys can correct me, but we were having more issues with Division systems than we were having with their content. Because I don't remember if we got to the end of the content.
We did.
We did.
It was just really horrible end-game content. It's really lackluster, and it's just like super bullet sponge bosses, you know, that were just not fun encounters. They were like they were supposed to be mini raids, right? Like a smaller raid, and it just sucked. And it was not
that
fun at all.
that the okay? Go through 25 waves of.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It
See,
was
and
just horrible.
I think that's more of a I think that's more of a systems problem versus a content problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, definitely it was.
I
like,
guess that's how I would interpret that.
we were hoping it would be, you know, our new game beyond Destiny, because we just got tired of their grind of how they did things, you know. And I think it's so it requires two things really, you know, a game that people want to play, which Marvel's Avengers, that game, while cool on paper, you know, when you have a poor man Avengers characters, you know, like those aren't the Avengers. They're the Avengers in that video game, but they're not the Avengers that everybody goes to the movies that sells billions of dollars. And it's like, yeah, it costs a lot of money to get those actors in and to use their likeness, but how much more would people have bought into it if it's like, hey, these are the people that we like, instead of like, hey, look at that guy who's pretending to be in cosplay Thor. You know, it's
Well,
like,
I also think Sony has shown us that they can get likenesses really close, you know, without having to actually put Tom Holland's face in the game. I mean, it can get close enough, but they just weren't very close in Marvel's Avengers.
no, but and then just with the release of having like things that people want to play, you know, those type of games require good cooperative game modes, and Marvel's Avengers just doesn't have it. So.
And do you think it's something that, like, there was a lot of buildup before the game launched? There was a lot of their war tables. There was a lot of talk about it. They had a lot of press playing the game, putting out, you know, reviews and like hype articles. Do you think it's something that they, like, developers just need to not say anything and release the game so that there's as little hype as possible, so people can play the content, not have this expectation of this? And I think this is one of the issues I've seen a lot as I've been making Godfall videos. People saying, I want to be able to put thousands and thousands of hours into this game. I think that's an unrealistic expectation to put on looters in general.
Yeah.
Like, there is no other game, like, except for like a multiplayer mode in like Halo or Call of Duty, where anyone would expect to put thousands and thousands of hours into it. Like, I put thousands of hours into Diablo, but that's also offline, and you don't really, like, I never really played that with a bunch of people. That was all just solo play. But I think that expectation is just like, it's an unrealistic expectation to expect to pay $70 and say, when I hit 1,000 hours, then this game has, you know, achieved met my expectations.
Yeah. I think, you know, to really have the amount of content and everything else, I mean, you could do that, but not with a brand new IP, right? You need to have an existing IP, something that has, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, if you did the way you're talking, right, with a brand new IP, and it's just like, here's what it is. You have a killer, like, trailer. These are all the things that are available, but you're going to need, like, 5 or 6 years of development time to really, and hundreds of people, not like 30 or 40 people. If you want to create all this content, like we think about like Ready Player One, right? Whether you like the book or not, right? The idea of being able to go into this world and do all kinds of things just takes a huge amount of people to create that game in that universe, right? In that world. You have to put a lot of artists, a lot of developers, programmers, all that stuff. It costs a lot of money to make these huge games, and it's got to be a huge risk and a gamble. But I think if you could have that, right? I don't know. I mean, like I said, because by the time you create everything, it's, the systems that you made in the beginning are going to be old. So that's also hard, and that's why, huge studios use, 500, 600, over 1,000 people to make games like, Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed and different things. It's like, you can't put out these huge, open world games with the amount of depth that they have every couple of years without putting thousands of people onto making these games,
Right.
I mean, you can have hits, like you mentioned a couple games that are hits, but they're not long term, sticking around for forever. It's like, oh, it's the it game of the moment, right? Like everyone's looking for that
Right.
fun new game you can play, and I don't know. I mean, looters just definitely, they require more, and it just takes time, and it's something that you have to, the company has to commit to. So it's like, okay, you need to keep improving the game, keep putting out content. So even if, like, Borderlands, they just announced new stuff for that game. I don't know if it's any good or not. Like when I played it, they didn't have the stuff I wanted, Borderlands 3, and so I was disappointed. And I'm gonna check it out when it comes out, on next gen, because I'm gonna play it on Xbox because it's 60 frames per second now. And so it's just like, okay, what do you want to play? How do you compete with the Battle Royales, the Call of Duties, Fortnite, those kind of things that suck up millions and millions of people? And how do you break away a chunk of that to get 5 million people or 6 million people playing your game when 50 million people are playing Warzone? How do you break away from that? And you can't just put lackluster effort into it and hope that you can get by on the IP or characters. It's like you have to have so many things. If you're trying to be a huge hit, it has to have all these things, all these checks, everything's got to be checked off to be able to get it and to be able to continue to get their attention. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It
because
has to be substantive. There has to be substance there. You have to have something, right? So
and it has to you have to always be developing for it. You cannot stop. It's not like you said, we've got this multiplayer done. It's like, okay, we made this content. Now we have to be working like 3 steps ahead so that they're able to roll out in the pipeline. And we've seen that some studios can't do that. They haven't been able to do that. Like, I'm surprised that the looter genre is still something that is continuing. Like when you think of games like World of Warcraft, like World of Warcraft is massive. I don't know if numbers wise, if World of Warcraft is still the biggest. I think probably Final Fantasy 14 might be up there. I'm not sure on the numbers, but that game has been going for since 2004, I believe is when it started. So that game has been going since then, and it's been the king since then. And like Destiny has been the king of the looters since it launched, and there's been looters come and go. And it's like, well, should developers just stop trying to make them and like move on to the next thing to where they can like cement themselves in position number 1? Because otherwise it's like, MOBAs. You've got League, you've got Dota, and the third place is Hero of the Storms. Like, there have been so many people that have tried to enter the MOBA space that have failed and that have not been able to penetrate. And I don't think anyone is ever going to be able to do that at this point.
Well, so and I think if companies set out trying to make the number 1 game, they're going to fail. So there's an author that I read. His name is Simon Sinek, and you may have heard of him, but he teaches about the golden circle concept, right? And he studied Apple, and Apple operates by this golden circle, right? Many companies say, we are going to set out to create the number one game. But what Apple sets out to do is they set out to create the best product. And if the best product then turns into the number one game, so be it, right? Right? And that's why many Apple products are at the forefront of the industries that they're in, because the mindset is different. I'm not necessarily sure that Bungie set out to make the best looter shooter in creating Destiny, but it ended up happening, right? I don't know if Blizzard set out to make the world's biggest, largest online multiplayer game, right? But then they created World of Warcraft, and that turned into what it is. And I think part of the problem, and this gets down to like the way the companies are designed from the ground up. If you set out to make the best thing, I think you're gonna fall short. But I misspoke. If you set out to make the number one thing, then you're gonna cut corners and you're gonna make compromises to meet deadlines and stuff. But if you set out to make the best product, and it just so happens that it turns into the best thing, I think that's why Destiny has been around for so long. I think that's why Halo has been around for so long, right? Because it just works, right? They're not forcing characters on you, right? Master Chief he's synonymous with games. And so I think there needs to be like a whole retooling of ethos and what exactly are we starting out to do?
Yep.
I just got really philosophical.
No, there's good examples of that, like Supergiant. I know I'll maybe someday I'll stop talking about Supergiant, but Supergiant is a good example of that. They build their product the best it can be, and that's their goal. And it tends to work out for them because that is the goal. It's not to make the best whatever they're making at the time. So all right. So Sonic the Hedgehog is coming to Fall Guys. Fall Guys is still a game. That costume looks really weird. I'm surprised. Like, all of a sudden there's like a lot of talk about Sonic, and maybe I just missed the boat where Sonic was popular again. I just thought that was weird. Genshin Impact is still very, very popular. I have not watched the movie, no.
My kids
but
and I
still,
enjoyed
like,
it.
it's I know, but it's like Sonic. Like, when did like Sonic hit the zeitgeist of like, hey kids, remember Sonic the Hedgehog? Man, he had a lot
it's
of
that
bad
movie, man. It
cartoons
just
back
brought
in
it
the day,
to the new generation. Kids enjoyed it. It was good enough to keep their attention. And my kids watching it
After they
like once a month at least.
After they had to change his character model.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
The
Yeah.
internet.
Genshin Impact is still very popular. And at one point when I was reading about Genshin Impact and the amount of money it was making, I was like, hey guys, like, I thought we didn't like loot boxes and microtransactions. Like, what's going on here? I did that like John Travolta thing, that meme where he's like looking around like, what's going on? I was like, I thought we hated people that did this. I thought we like almost crucified EA for Battlefront because of this. But
It's different
this game
now.
is like
It's okay.
making billions of dollars, millions of dollars a day because of their microtransactions. Anyway,
Hey,
the
it's
PlayStation
Phaedron.
5
He's buying all the scantily clad outfits for his women folk. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I might have put $500 into that game too because of my depression. So the PlayStation 5 UI was shown off. That thing is out there. You can go see it. They have the startup sound. People were losing their minds about Burger King. Like, I think the UI looks pretty cool. It's like fast and sleek and shiny. The one thing I do want to talk about the UI, they have a feature. It's part of the activities feature that when you jump into a game, it will give you an estimated time of completion depending on where you are. I think this feature is pretty interesting. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's based on what other people have done. I don't know if it's like based on what the developer puts in there, like this is how long it should take you. But it's almost kind of like a little bit of a spoiler to me. Like, it's like reading a book, like a physical book, when we used to read physical books, and like you're getting to the end and you're like, oh man, I'm almost to the end. Like, and it kind of changes the way you read that book. Changes the way I do it anyway. I read a lot. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, this is a cool feature. It's interesting. I wonder if it's something that's going to continue to like be there. But yeah, congratulations to the PlayStation 5 showing off their UI. We've got UI for the Xbox. We've got UI for the PlayStation 5. UI for Godfall. It's like UI for everyone. It's not a
Did
UTI.
you hear about the other feature for the PlayStation 5 from the party chat stuff?
Tell me about this other feature.
Where you can report people in your party for bad behavior. So it's like,
Tell me more, Devon.
so your friends are playing and they annoy you, so you can record a clip from your party chat and upload it to PlayStation as evidence of their bad language or whatever else has offended you that day. I just thought that was weird. It's like, so we're what? It's like, it's one thing when you get horrible messages from people, it's another thing to be like, oh, can I talk? Is it safe? Is this open, free communication here? Can we talk in this party, or are you gonna report me because I say something that you don't like? I don't know, I just thought that was really weird, that you could record something from your party chat and send it to PlayStation to report someone. So I just thought that was interesting. It's like, okay, but
I wonder what the review team is going to look like with a feature like that, or if it's all going to be done by a computer.
I don't know. I don't
anyway,
know.
so that's been the news. I'm going to push a button.
Master combo.
And we masterfully comboed the news right there. All right, so now it's the time that you've all been waiting for, is Steven's stupid game.
Hey, before we get to your game,
Get out.
I was reminded about books, because you talked about books, right? So I've been reading To Sleep Among the Stars, right? The new book, I cannot remember his name. He wrote the Aragon series.
Oh, it's Patalinsky, Patatonia.
Yep, it is something like that. Yes.
Christopher Poloni.
Or whatever, Poloni. Yeah, no. So it's been really good, and I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. I don't. So they have multiple chapters and then like acts within the book, and so it's like you could be on chapter 1, and then you're reading through it, and go through these chapters, and then it's like all over chapter 1 again in this part of the book. So it was very interesting. I guess he already has a movie deal for the book, so hopefully it goes much better than the Aragon movie, because that was hot garbage. Yeah. I really enjoyed that book.
That means something coming from Devon.
It does mean something coming from me. I mean, I'd still watch it, but I was very disappointed in what they did. All right, so.
And Devon likes the Fast and the Furious series, so it's there you go. All right, and it's all about family. So moving on, I'm gonna push a button one more time.
That's more motivation than I've ever heard from you.
All right, so welcome to this very special edition of Steven's Stupid Game Show, where we play Destiny Weapon or 90s Punk Song. So this is what you guys are going to do. I'm going to read the name of what could either be a weapon from Destiny 1 or a 90s punk song. And Devon and Michael, you will tell me what you think it is, and then you will score points based on if you were correct, and we'll tally that up at the end, and we will declare a winner. So, all right, you guys ready? Do you understand the rules of this game, Michael?
Do we still have to call out our name? Is that how we're doing it?
You do not. You will both answer, and whoever gets it right,
both
you will earn a point. Yes. So, Devon, do you understand the rules of this game?
Yes.
All right. So, line number 1. The name is Fat Lip. Fat Lip.
90s
punk song.
All right. Both answers are 90s punk song, and that is correct. Bonus points if you can name the author or the singer, the author of the song.
Artist?
Singer of the song. Artist. That's the word. Artist of the song.
Nope.
Wait for it.
Green Day.
Waiting for it. No, it's not Green Day. That is actually Sum 41. So
that's the only punk band, if they are a punk band, that I know of.
Green Day?
Fair enough.
Or punk.
Music
All right.
is not my forte.
It's not your 40. All right. Number 2. Anonymous Autumn. Anonymous Autumn. Destiny Weapon or 90s punk song?
90s
Destiny
punk
Weapon.
song.
So Mike says Destiny Weapon. Devon says punk song. Michael is correct. That is actually a Destiny sidearm. Well done, Michael. Destiny sidearm. All right. Michael is up 2-1. Number 2. Apostate. Destiny Weapon or 90s punk song?
Destiny Weapon.
90s punk song.
Again, Michael with the point and Devon with not a point. I am actually impressed here. All right. So now 3-1. Devon,
What
you
kind of
got some
weapon was
catching
it?
up to do. It was a sniper rifle. Apostate was a sniper rifle. Number 4, Cold Denial. Cold Denial. Like
Destiny
I am in right
Destiny
now.
Weapon.
Well done for both of you. Point for both of you for the Destiny Weapon. Cold Denial was a pulse rifle. All right, number 5, and halfway done with the quiz. Cute without the E. Cute without the E. Destiny
So
Weapon
how is it
or
cute?
90s
Wouldn't it
punk
just
song?
be cut?
Hey, there you go,
Punk song.
Devon.
I'll just go Destiny Weapon.
All right, Michael taking the point there, and Devon missing out on the point for Cute without the E. That is from Taking Back Sunday. Number 6. Go figure. Go figure. Destiny Weapon or 90s punk song?
Go figure.
Destiny Weapon.
Destiny Weapon.
That is correct. It is a Destiny Weapon, but it is also another song by the band Everlife, but that's not a punk song. So 1 point for each of you.
Stop copying me, Mike. Gosh.
The score is now 6-3. Michael, you have gone 100% on this.
You
So
get your
1, 2, 3,
answers.
4, 5, 6. Well, these are hidden in a different spot. I guess you could have. All right. Next up is Heels Overhead. Heels Overhead. Destiny Weapon or 90s punk song?
Punk song.
Ooh, Heels Overhead. I think it's a punk song.
All right. Punk song it is by Boys Like Girls. So point for both of you. The score is now 7-4. Devon, you could catch up if Michael gets all of these wrong and you get all of them right. All right. The song is So I'm gonna change this up. I'm gonna move it back and I'm gonna rearrange these last 3. The name is Holiday. Holiday. 90s punk song or Destiny Weapon? Holiday.
Destiny Weapon.
Yep, Destiny Weapon.
That is incorrect. Both of you will take a loss on that one. That is Holiday by Green Day, Devon's
As-
favorite punk band.
As the leader, Mike should lose 2 points.
Because Devon is
That's how
leaving the
it works,
show.
right?
No. I'm sure it is. All right.
It wasn't explicitly
Last
stated.
2. The last 2. Love and Death. Destiny Weapon or 90s punk
Destiny
song?
Weapon.
Ooh, Love and Death. Love and Death. Destiny Weapon.
All right. Both of you score a point for Love and Death, which is a Destiny grenade launcher. Love and Death, the one that I assume that you both used quite often since you knew that one so quickly.
No, I just
Destiny
used the
1?
Gallahorn. That's
I didn't know
Steven.
grenade launchers were in Destiny 1.
Nope, this is Destiny 2 also. Because grenade launchers.
no,
so.
oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know when this list changed, but that's where I got to vet my list better. All right. Last one, and for the win, winner take all, because that's how these dumb games work. 70 times 7. Destiny Weapon
Destiny Weapon.
or 90s punk song. And that is a 90s punk song. So because you both missed that last one, I will go ahead and nullify this, and we will call it a tie. But
No,
really,
Mike won.
8-5. Devon, Mike, I am surprised by the amount of knowledge you guys have for Destiny weapons. That's pretty impressive.
Seriously? Like, really? You are, though?
I am surprised because also, like, get this. If you were a band and you had no idea what to name a song, you could go to Destiny Item Tracker, look up any one of those things, and you would have hundreds of titles for your stupid songs.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Sure you can.
They use, yeah, I mean, it's not like they trademarked every single weapon. You can't trademark Cold Denial. That's not a thing you can trademark. You can't just trademark a name.
Yeah.
I'm going to trademark
okay.
Steve, the name Steve. No one can use the name Steve. So I
Without
just thought it was
paying you
interesting
money.
because, yeah, every time someone says Steve, they have to pay me my money, but only if it's spelled with a V, not that PH crap that they got going on. So, all right, everyone. Hey, now let's not make fun of people.
They found what the paying.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in to episode 144. Before we head out here, we'll give Devon the last comments, I guess. But before
The
we do
last
that,
word, which is a Destiny
Oh.
weapon also.
Destiny Weapon, also a song from the band Don't Tread on Me. You can find us on, where can you find us? You can go to patreon.com/Freelancer Codex to support us. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us at the Discord link in the description below. You can write to us at freelancercodex@gmail.com. If you want to send in your favorite memory of Devon being on the show, you can do that. We'll read them off next show. And yeah, until next time, thanks for hanging out with us. This has been episode 144. Devon, you want to parting closing words on?
Closing words. It's been a fun, wild ride. Love you guys. Thanks everyone who's joined our community and been along for this crazy ride. It's been a lot of fun chatting with all of you, meeting some of you, having some of you on the show, and geeking out with us about video games and entertainment. So, until next time, I'll see you later.
Thank you for listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network. Follow us at Freelancer Codex on Twitter or Twitch. Send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com or voice messages to anchor.fm/freelancercodex/message. We wish to thank all of our Patreons. We are grateful for you all.